Alright, Shalom, Shalom Israel.
Shalom.
First off, I want to call Lal, Yahweh Bashim Shai, Bashim Kakodash. To be honest to the elders, apostles of great millstone. Shalom to the brothers in highways and byways, preaching and teaching spirit in sincerity and in truth. This is your brother Shapal, and you have your brother.
Ashar.
Alright, so this morning we want to do a lesson, a very quick lesson on the national identification system. Alright, where we see pop up in the news again. You know what I mean? And the system is to create a new identification system for Jamaicans. But it's not only Jamaicans, you know what I mean, because it come from the Agenda 2030 from the UN goals. You know what I mean? And it's a worldwide thing. You know what I mean? Last year them I believe them have it in Parliament where in them get it overthrown, thrown out, you know what I mean, and them, bringing it back. But that is just to show that it is monetary, all right? There is no, if this country decide to go digital, which the rest of the world is moving to, you know what I mean, this is monetary for a national ID, all right? So we have this article we want to go through and, just bring out some scriptures, to prove that this ID, as we normally do, you know what I mean, we can, we can't get repeat the scriptures enough, as the elder pastor said, repetition is the father of all skills. So it entitles Government Complete Revision of the National Identification System Policy. Alright, and this is dated November the 27th, 2019. Just a couple of days ago. Alright. Let's just scroll down. So it's Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Andrew Holiness, right, says the government has concluded revision of the National Identification System Policy, which is now being revived by primary stakeholders. Right, so we expect that the review process to be complete in the next 2 weeks, after which the cabinet will consider a revived policy, he said in a statement to Parliament during Tuesday, November the 26th, sitting at the House of Representatives. Alright. So it's Mr. Holness advised that the revived policy is consistent with the recommendation of the Supreme Court ruling. So this is a higher it's higher than just Jamaican, man.
Right.
Saying it's higher than just Jamaica. I mean, this is handed down and it going to be mandatory. So no matter what them do, even if the other party come in, this is mandatory for every country have an identification, which we know, as scripture say, go back to the mark of the beast, right, in Revelation. But this is just a framework, because what they want to do is gather all the information, all right, and then, when them get your biometrics, all of your, basically your information, your biometrics, your database, your you know what I mean, just overall data on every human being, man. You know what I mean? And when them get it, you know what I mean, you're gonna go put it on a card, right, for now, and then ultimately, the RFID microchip. You know what I mean? This is the end goal.
Right. So this is Revelation 13 verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
And that beast go back to NATO and the EU. You know what I mean? Right? And that image is your, them philosophy. You know what I mean? The one world government, and ultimately this RFID microchip, man. You know what I mean? And the elect men of the nation of Israel, pray how about Shemel Shai, when those times come, we stand firm, as they say, he calls it hard. You know what I mean? So a lot of people are gonna take this thing because they're gonna make sure to put a lot of pressure when them collapse the system. You know what I mean? You're gonna have riots, you go have famine, race war, world war, ultimately. You know what I mean? So a lot of people are gonna be begging for this thing, man. So as I say, it cause it all. But as I said before, the men of the Lord's will, we stand firm in those times.
Yeah, and if holiness was to go against that, um, the RFID chip implementation, right, which is now the NIDS for now, right, it will be cut off as the scripture say.
That's right.
Right?
Right. Because you're gonna need that to survive in the new system what they want to bring.
Plus Jamaica don't grow their own food.
Exactly. Highly depending on imported goods.
That's the least, cause then again Jamaica don't have a military, right? Jamaica don't have anything, yo.
That's right.
So if he decide to don't go that way there, them just cut them off, yo. Them die. You see? Continue?
Yeah, man.
See, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
That's right. And going to that mark, you go back to the word charagma, right? Which mean an imprinted, right, mark, right? You go in a charagma, the root word for charagma, you get charax. You know what I mean? That which you realize that is a pear or stick. That means something to punch at the flesh, basically. You know what I mean? Like you can, that go back to the syringe. You know what I mean? When you watch a lot of these videos, you see them putting the chip under the skin. You know what I mean? Where them use a syringe. You know what I mean? So that described right there as a syringe. And when you're going the root word for charax, you get grapho. I mean written information. You know what I mean? Information written down. Right? And all of your biometrics, so I say, it go be on this RFID microchip, and right now your ID, right, which is the framework, as you say, setting up for the RFID microchip. You know what I mean? And that's why it's important, because guess what? When John was on the island of Patmos and get his vision, you know what I mean, he couldn't come out and say, it's a microchip or whatever, man. Right? He had to put it in the sense of a mark. You know what I mean? That's what he knew back then. You know what I mean? So that's what we describe it. But when you go into the word and you look it up, right, and you break down the words, you see it describe certain things which we can see today. I mean, as those things were described a while ago.
Right?
So.
And he said both, it's a small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, right? The man them in a prison are gonna get this as well, yo. Right? Because they need to keep a track.
Sure.
Right? Plus you need a number, right? Where you are gonna get, where them say you are gonna get from your born to when you're dead. So you are gonna need that number. For sure, so you're in the system.
Sure.
You see? And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
That's right. And hey, the scripture say, you're not gonna be able to buy and sell, man. Save you that have the mark. And go back to what I said before. Look, Jamaica is helpless, man, without other nations, man, because Jamaica can't provide nothing for itself. You know what I mean? And Jamaica can't be able to dictate anything, because guess what? Jamaica is not a sovereign nation. They don't have a standing army for themselves, right? You know what I mean? And them to produce as much things where our people can consume. Because nobody farming now. You see? So when the system come in, we're going to be highly dependent, right? And the powers that be, right? Esau, right? For our, and that part of the curses, man.
Right? If the Jamaica come like a prostitute on the street corner, yo.
Gone.
If no one gives a fuck, then them get fucked.
Gone.
Right? Continue the article.
Yeah, let's read a little more on the article. So it's Alright, so it's back in that article, it's the decision made early this year rendered the enabling legislation, the National Identification and Registration Bill, which was passed in Parliament 2017, null and void. Mr. Holness said, based on the recommendations, it is intended that in the new drafting, right, instruction incorporation, strengthened oversight and security provision will be issued by January 2020. I said this, he added, it is with the aim of tabling a new bill by the end of 2019-2020 financial year. Mr. Holiness stressed that establishing a national system for identification is not an option, right, but a necessity in an increasing digital age, right? Look, Mr. Holiness just said it a while ago, man. Right? Your Prime Minister said it's not an option, man. It is not an option, right? You have Sweden leading the charge, India, right? Some of the main countries were gone fully microchipped, right? Which is leading the charge right now. You know, well, not all fully, you know what I mean, but they're moving over, they're leading, right, in that era, all right? And you have a lot of countries, you know, where you see I come out with these IDs, such as we do a lot of lessons on these things, like you have Guyana, you have even Ghana over there, you know, and a lot of African countries. Look, it's worldwide, man. Right? This is what people are moving over to, man. This is a digital age coming, right? The age wherein a lot of things are gonna be digital, man. Your money, right? Your resources, man. You know what I mean? Out here in Jamaica, light and your water and a lot of things, man. Right? That's gonna be the new way of doing it. Right? So in order to survive in that digital society, which is to come, you're gonna need these things what the people must say. But guess what? It's a snare and a trap, man. Right? It's a snare and a trap for you people.
This is Psalm 64 verse, verse 2. It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect.
Yeah, and what the perfect, man? The nation of Israel. You Israelites, man. Mainly right now, the elect of the nation of Israel is the perfect, man. What the scripture speak about. Right? And you wicked people, what the scripture speak about, right? You is the so-called Edomites, right? Idomia. You know what I mean? You know, nowadays you have to be discreet, you know what I mean, in a saying and your doings, because, you know what I mean, your Esau is hurt. So, you know, they intend to flag a lot of videos, man. But nevertheless, the truth have to come out, man. The scripture speaking about the Edomites, right, and you other nations, right, you know what I mean, shooting bitter words, right, and devising wicked devices to shoot at the perfect, which are Israelites.
It says, suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter.
Right.
They commune of lying snares.
Right, they commune of lying snares, and this is one of the snares of them all here. Right? And your leaders leading you in a trap, man. Right? Which they themselves thinking that them are gonna be exempt from certain judgment or certain things where, you know what I mean, Esau go roll out, them are gonna be safe from. Right? But the scripture say, yo, you're not supposed to trust your enemy, man. Right? Because as iron rusted, you know what I mean, just to roughly paraphrase the scripture, man. You know what I mean? So it's his wickedness. You know, hey, look, man, his wickedness never fail it, man. It's still there, right?
It said, they say, who shall see them? They search out iniquity. They accomplish a diligent search.
That's right.
But the inward thoughts of every one of them and the heart is deep.
Because these people now seek for, you know what I mean, with the next party that, you know what I mean, or, you know, trying to get fame or any of these things, man. These people are seek out of chop a nation. You know what I mean, of take over the world, man, or one world government. You know what I mean? Where them can have people like puppets. And these people are thinking like a godlike vibration. You know what I mean? As the scripture say, you know what I mean, his desire is to be like the Most High. You know what I mean? So the thoughts of these men, man, are deep, very deep. We come up with a system, you know, if you rule, if you govern the whole world, you know what I mean, under one, you know what I mean? You know, you can see it, man. These men thoughts are deep.
So, second Ezra 16 verse 68. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you, and feed you, being idle, with things offered unto idols.
Alright, going back to the chip, the RFID microchip, you know. And a lot of you people are going to buy at the concentration camp and taking you have more nights still. Can't go on further, but you know, you have a lot of you people are taking the concentration camp, man. Right? And you're going to be, you know what I mean, forced to take that chip. I mean, especially men of the Lord, you know, wherein we are going to deny, you know what I mean, we are going to be forced and pressure to take that chip just for the pleasure of Esau, man. Alright? See, you can't go on looking further.
See? And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden under foot.
Yeah, so basically, if you take that chip, you know what I mean, you're going to be had in derision and mockery, you know what I mean, basically. See, because guess what? If you don't take it, you're going to die anyway, right? And if you take it, they won't put you to death. See? So, you know what I mean, you're going to be mocked because especially men of the Lord, if you just take this chip, you know what I mean, and you know, you're on the videos every day, you know what I mean, teaching and telling people not to take it, you know what I mean, and you know, being to those concentration camp and you end up taking a chip, you're going to be out as a mockery, man, a laughter to Esau. Alright?
Okay. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord.
That's right.
They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord.
Alright. Let's go look more on that article. It's alright, so even in countries that formerly were taking a position that we don't need this, we don't need to do this, they are now moving towards understanding that if they are going to have a digital economy, they need to be able to identify citizens operating within this setting, he said. You know, and NIDS is tended to provide a comprehensive and a structure and a secure structure to capture and store information and the identity of all Jamaicans. So under the system, each citizen will be provided with a randomized 9-digit national identification number, NIN, which they will have for life. You know, so that's the NIDS for you, man. That's a number where you're gonna have for life. Alright. And this, as I said, this go back to goal 16 in the agenda 2030, which we're gonna get shortly on the screen. Let's pause this. I mean, alright, so it's another article. Alright. Privacy international.org. Alright. I will scroll down to. Okay. Alright. It's part of the article. It's Sustainable Development Goals, SDGC, are United Nations led initiative to define the development agenda. Alright, so this proves that this initiative is coming from the UN. Alright. ESA, man. You see? And what them do basically, as we stated in the beginning of the video, is to consolidate all the information, right? And it's mandatory for all countries, man. As the scripture say, it calls it all. You know what I mean? All countries basically have a national ID or ultimately be chip. You know what I mean? It's building on the 8th millennium development goal, right? SDGC's 17 goal and the 169 targets serve an opportunity to tackle many of the most pressing issues in the world today. The SDGC are also explicit grounded in human rights. So goal 16 on peace, right? Peace and justice and sustainable institution aims to promote peace and inclusive society and an inclusive society for sustainable development, provided access to peace for all, right, and build effective, right, accountability and inclusive institution to all levels. Within this goal, right, 16.9, and this is the point, it said, an identity by 2030, provide legal identity for all, including birth registration. Right, so this where Andrew Holness come out, you know what I mean, and having at the House of Parliament is not of his own thing. Right, this is coming straight from the UN. Right, it's mandatory for every country for have it. You know what I mean? It's just that Jamaica falling and check, and you're going to see things picking up speedily. You know what I mean?
It's Isaiah 36 verse 5. It says, say though, but they are but vain words.
Come.
I have counsel and strengthened for war. Now on whom dost thou trust that thou rebel against me?
That's right.
That's Israel rebelling against the Heavenly Father.
Come.
He said, lo, thou trusted in the staff of his broken reed,
Right.
and Egypt, whereon if a man lean, it shall go into his hand and pierce it. So is the Pharaoh of Egypt to all that trust in him.
That's right. Right, and those fear go back to even the banking elites, man. Banking elites, right? Go back to Isa. You know what I mean? And you put your trust in those men because as scripture say, I'm described them as the God of this world. God of this world have blinded the minds of you people, man. See? So you trust in them except for the Most High, man. And it's say, you know, like a broken reed, when you lean on it, you go through your hand, man, and hey, that's exactly what I'm going to do, man. Alright? I'm going to pierce you with those syringe and inject you with the RFID microchip so them can have ultimate control over you. I mean, not just your phone, or not just, you know what I mean? But you as an individual, man. Right? And that's the ultimate goal, man. For Isa, right, of total dominion, right? Be like the Most High, man. Right? See, so you know what I'm doing. Alright, so hey, hope this lesson was edifying. You know what I mean? With that, we want to call Allah, how about Shimei and Shai, Washima Kakudash, honest to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the brothers in the highways and byways, preaching and teaching His word in sincerity and in truth. Shalom.